welcome everybody back to another episode of the Fantasy Stand, where we are trying to get a draft in every day before the start of the NFL regular season. We're back in here on Monday. Just got a first week of preseason in the books. A lot of exciting action to see. Some exciting players we were able to finally see some game action on. And of course, quarterback wise, at least on our end, Jaden Daniels is rising. Last week we were able to get a lot of super flex drafts, but now this week I'm actually going to go back to the standard regular PPR format of just one quarterback, three wide receivers, two running backs, one tight end, one flex. Next week I actually have my 14 team draft. So next week I'm actually going to be mocking a little bit more from the 14 team just to kind of see obviously who goes a little bit earlier with those rosters being a little more thinned out. So I'm excited at least to get back in here to do another draft. We're going to come in and just randomize this spot 3 times, see where we fall, and see where some of these ADPs are going. Hopefully by the end, Underdog Fantasy will have a couple more drafts. They did add some cheaper ones yesterday, just came in today though, and all of them were already taken, or they were already filled up. So we're gonna be mocking, and hopefully later on this week be able to hop into a real best ball draft, just to at least see where real people are drafting these players. But let's go ahead and see if at least Fantasy Pros has the ADPs somewhat rising. Obviously Hollywood Brown injury, which means Xavier Worthy, Rashee Rice probably be going up a little bit higher on the board. So let's randomize this 3 times. 1, 2, and 3. And the 10th spot. We've kind of been drafting a lot from this later spot, which I'm not necessarily too mad at, just with the fact that, it is the tougher spot to draft from. So let's go ahead, see who falls in this draft. With us being 3 wide receivers, of course, my philosophy has been wide receiver first. Obviously, here we're lucky. A.J. Brown is still there. I believe he's still going to be a monster. Garrett Wilson actually went before us. Bijan went at 8. Brees Hall at 7. And then obviously, other than Christian McCaffrey at 1, you had the wide receiver run go there. So with this, we love Jahmyr Gibbs, but A.J. Brown, of course, is going to be my pick here. If I am... Okay, this is tough. So obviously there are two running backs I really want, and they are Kyron Williams and Isaiah Pacheco. Right now, ADP wise, Pacheco is going in the 3rd. We have a chance to see them fall. You know what? I'll take who I want. I'll take Kyron Williams here. I'm gonna go ahead. We're gonna be doing a couple of these mock drafts. I'm gonna see, instead of going wide receiver with Kyron Williams there, we'll go ahead and see how I'll go ahead and draft. Nico Collins is there. I believe this preseason, Tank Dell was the 3rd wide receiver left out. So it was Nico and Stephon Diggs who were the starters in 2 wide receiver sets. Cooper Kupp, obviously still there too. He is rising up as well. Honestly, there's a good thing we took Kyron Williams there in the 2nd. And this is honestly something I'm thinking about doing in my real drafts. Either Kyron Williams or Isaiah Pacheco, those are the 2 that I really believe in, and the 2 running backs that I really want to leave out. Obviously, with us having the later pick, which we'll see in the draft board. Where did Isaiah... So Isaiah went in the 2nd as well. So if you really want your guy, you're going to have to go ahead and take your guy, even hoping that Travis Etienne would possibly fall. It's just, this is the way I think you have to go. You just have to choose your wide receiver champion, running back champion, or vice versa, and then fill your draft out from there. As I'm coming in here, it's either Nico Collins or Cooper Kupp. I'll go ahead. I'll go Nico. Him just being the starter. Obviously, there is still a three-headed attack there. Very interesting. Sam Laporta goes. Mark Andrew goes. Only running back goes is Josh Jacobs, but also DK Metcalf, which means if we really wanted, we could go Cooper Kupp. Trey McBride is there. George Pickens later. Rashad White, Alvin Kamara. You know what? With us going the running back champion up there, I do know that we have been smash playing Zamir White in the fifth. So I think that's the route we're gonna go. I'll go Cooper Kupp here. I'll see which tight ends fall later on. And I'm glad I did because let me see. Did George Pickens? Yeah, George Pickens ended up going 2 picks before, which that's obviously who we would have loved to have on our roster as well. Christian Kirk. What was the news I saw on Kirk? The starters are Brian Thomas and it's Brian Thomas and someone else. I think Kirk was like the third wide receiver lined up in the slot. So we're still smash playing Keon Coleman in the eighth. That's what we're hoping, planning. So with this being the fifth round, we're gonna go to running backs because the running back run did happen and go. James Cook, Rashad White, Kamara, Joe Mixon, Kenneth Walker, Aaron Jones, and Ramondre Stevenson, leaving the next top three available, or next four, if you will: James Conner, David Montgomery, Zamir White, Raheem Mostert. Out of those four, Zamir White and Raheem Mostert are the two I would love. With Zamir White being there, he is the guy that I would choose and play or smash pick in the fifth round. We don't miss out on any wide receivers, really. Tank Dell, maybe, but we already have Nico Collins. We already have 3 starting wide receivers and 2 running backs. So this is the sixth round. How we have been playing and been viewing and seeing is Keon Coleman has been more the eighth. With this here, though, honestly, what tight end is available? Dalton Kincaid still there. He will still have a role. You hope that he takes that sophomore jump. The only problem with that is the fact that Dawson Knox is still there. Quarterback-wise, we have C.J. Stroud, Kyler Murray, Joe Burrow, Dak Prescott. Oh, Hollywood Brown, hope you can recover. Terry McLaurin is an interesting pick here. Calvin Ridley too. I mean, obviously they would be our flex pick. Running back wise though, Raheem Mostert's still available. There's other ones like James Conner. However, we're targeting Trey Benson later. David Montgomery, who will get some of the touchdowns, but you are hoping this year that Jahmyr Gibbs will take that second-year jump. You know, him coming in as the clear starter. Like I said, he'll still get his goal line carries. I just feel like 6. I'm going to see how this is going to shape out. I'll go Mostert here, running back. I'll see who falls. We do miss out on Dalton Kincaid, which would be that 1Z position. After that, looking at the wide receivers who go, or Dave Montgomery, Calvin Ridley, Stroud, Jaden Reed, Chris Godwin, Hollywood Brown, Terry McLaurin, James Conner, Rashee Rice, Christian Watson, Kyler Murray, Najee Harris, a couple tight ends in Ingram Kittle, Warren, and of course Jackson Smith and Jigba, and Joe Burrow. So here in the 7th, we do know that we're still targeting Keon Coleman in the 8th. Tight end wise, Kyle Pitts, Jake Ferguson, who I think would still be good. Dak Prescott is there. I mean, I think he's going to be good. He's going to be good. He's going to be decent. It's just, come on, Jerry, pay CD. I don't know what the holdup is. He's the guy. You drafted him in round 1 to be the guy, and he's him. So now pay him so he can continue to be him. Dak Prescott would be an interesting pick. The fact that he is here, however, the person that I have kind of been eyeing a little bit more is Jaden Daniels. Especially after this week. And you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and pick Jaden Daniels here. Uh, Dak Prescott after that, Javante, Brock, Jordan Addison, tight end wise, Kyle Pitts is still there. Wide receiver wise, in the eighth, look, Xavier Worthy, that is someone who will more than likely be jumping up boards and would probably be in consideration. Lad McConkey's still there. Some good receivers. Roma Dunze is the wide receiver 3, at least based on the preseason action so far right now. Xavier Worthy is going to be exciting with the fact that he will be thrusted in more reps with the fact that Hollywood Brown is injured. Keon Coleman, to me, though, is still the wide receiver 1 who I've been choosing and picking and who my bet on is. Here we were hoping Trey Benson would have been able to fall to us. Especially, with the fact that Zach Moss, Ezekiel Elliott, Jerome Ford, Gus Edwards, all of them still on the board. That bot is probably someone who, no, I mean, look at the guy. I mean, maybe. So, really bummed out on Trey Benson. Ooh, he actually went Chase Brown. That bot went Chase Brown before as well. Just looking for those PPR upside. Brees's pieces. Dude has a squad starting off 3 there, 2 there. I mean, those are decent running backs. Hollywood Brown's the only questionable one, which is with him being injured. But Kyler Murray, Brees's pieces has a solid team. We'll see who he goes tight end wise. But now I just want to go ahead check my roster. We're still missing that tight end. We'll see who's available right now. Kyle Pitts still available. Wide receivers, I'm looking with this already going Keon. The only one here of some value I kind of feel is more Brian Thomas Jr. with him possibly starting as well in Jacksonville. Tyler Lockett's, of course, the veteran. Running back, we could go Jerome Ford, get that 4th running back. I think that's what we may do here just to add depth to that position. I like Jerome Ford. I think he's going to be the RB1 there. Here we have a choice. Honestly, it's between 3. Or, you know what? Honestly, it's between 1. I more than likely would go Blake Corum here, just with the fact that even in this squad, even though he is the backup, in real life this is a redraft league, not a best ball draft league, so there's no need to really get your backup. In this case, Blake Corum is very similar to how Zach Charbonnet was last year with Kenneth Walker. If you have Kyron Williams, target Blake Corum in case anything happens. Kyron Williams still has a couple injuries that pop up from time to time. So in that instance, go ahead, shore up your pick in Blake Corum, get that backfield. We have Zeus and Zamir White to anchor our RB2. We still believe in Mostert and being able to produce. A-Chain is still going to have that lightning explosive role, but around the goal line, Mostert could still possibly be that guy. Yes, he is getting in the later parts of his career, so guess what? They're going to want to treat him right by rewarding him. So I think we're in a pretty good spot if we get Keon Coleman, because Blake Corum, because at the same time, it's either Gus Edwards, which they say he's the guy, but is he even on the field? We have the Cowboys' choice between Ezekiel Elliott or Rico Dowdle, who is fighting for that spot. Ezekiel Elliott's going to get a touchdown or 2. So here, Blake Corum honestly would be that pick. If we didn't have Kyron Williams and we had someone say Isaiah Pacheco there, Brian Thomas Jr. would be in consideration just to get another good rookie wide receiver. Because as we come down here, I mean, Jahan Dotson may be a target just with the fact that we have Jaden Daniels. Scrolling down a little bit more, you can take a chance on Dontavian Wicks, who had the touchdown. Jalen Polk, who I don't even think ran with the starters, which was surprising. And then, of course, some other rookies who are just kind of injured. You just don't know yet. With Leggett, Darnell Mooney being the wide receiver 2 there, could have a role with Kirk Cousins slinging it. Rashad Bateman, wide receiver. I think he's the wide receiver. I imagine Zay Flowers is the one. But let's go ahead. We're round 10. And tight end, Kyle Pitts, Jake Ferguson. Ooh, it's either Kyle Pitts or Jake Ferguson. Who am I going to choose? I think that actually may be the move. We already have 4 RBs. We already have 4 wide receivers. That's tough. I'm going to go Corum. I'll see what tight end falls. There goes Pitts. And Bowers. Okay, that is perfect. That is perfect. That means Ferguson is there. And Sam Laporta, Mark Andrews. So we're hoping that none of them actually go tight end. And that's what this actually prediction pick of saying less than 1%. That's more than what it is picking up. Rico Dowdle is there, who obviously provide the upside. Ooh, Romeo Doubs, who honestly could be very interesting as a pickup late this late. Quarterback wise, Jared Goff would be interesting as well. Rico Dowdle would provide the upside. 1, 2, 3. I mean, we already have 5 running backs. I just don't think we really need that 6th one. And if we're gonna take I'd much rather take Dobbs. Come back, take Ferguson. All right, we're down to our last 2 picks. Cole Kmet is an interesting pick to me. Obviously, it would be a backup tight end. You don't necessarily need those. Maybe they're saving Polk. That's what I thought. Quarterback, ooh, we have Jared Goff there. Good backup QB. I'm actually going to take that. Take Goff. We miss out on rookie wide receiver Leggett, someone who definitely we like, provide upside. Tua goes. So there is a chance that we possibly could have missed out on him. But wide receiver wise, actually going to come in here. I'm actually going to go Cole Kmet. I like the upside a little bit more with him. And just because you never know as well. You know, you could come out week 1 and he could just explode. We got our 2 guys. Kickers here. 74. Man, who is getting the A? Like, what guys are ranked so high? I mean, obviously, I guess if we would have had Dak Prescott there and our quarterback instead of Jane Daniels, that would have been nice. But as we're staring down with the decision, Jane Daniels just has that rushing upside a little bit more. So I'm just excited to see what he can bring out in his rookie season. We started A.J. Brown and then went Kyron Williams there. This is how I probably would start my draft. I'm not mad at the squad. This is kind of the squad we've been leaving out with a lot, and a lot of people are ranking it 74 out of everyone. Fantasy pros, look at that, dead center right on the 70s. So what this is telling me is Fantasy Pros hates Jaden Daniels. They don't like Kyron Williams. They don't like Zamir White. A.J. Brown, apparently they like wide receiver 2, Devontae Smith more. Nico Collins, with the addition of Stephon Diggs, just ruined his value, I guess. Cooper Cup, Puka Nakua's knee injury, I guess hasn't valued up Cooper Cup enough, I guess. Jake Ferguson looks to not be the safe fantasy pick, and Raheem Mostert must be left dead. After that, we have Josh Allen's wide receiver 1, Keon Coleman, which it's funny to read the reports. He played 100% of the starter snaps. Jerome Ford, who's going to be the RB1. Blake Corum, who, yeah, we could have went someone else there with a little bit more value, but we have Kyron Williams trying to play it smart. This is how I would have done it in my league. And we left with Romeo Doubs, Jared Goff, Cole Kmet, all three backups to quarterback backup and a tight end backup. I mean, some people don't like it, but I'll take the value there. My team is balanced, stacked, and I don't know. I don't know who I'm going to drop week 1. Probably someone, but this to me is a squad that I would rock with. So 74 out of 100. Appreciate you guys seeing that one. Gonna come in again, do it, run it back, just like how we always do. From the 10th pick, same format, start this draft. We'll see who's here. This one, I actually may punt the running back position and see. Oh, man, I don't know if I necessarily want to punt the running back position. Because Garrett Wilson, to me, yes, he's great, but it's still uncertain with me. You know what? Last one, wide receiver first. We'll go running back first. I do love Jahmyr Gibbs. Here, tough choice. We actually have Marvin Harrison Jr. or Devontae Adams. Those two, man, tough choices. A lot of people, I mean, Marvin Harrison Jr. is still a rookie. Devontae Adams is the veteran. I mean, obviously, we do have the human joystick and Kyler Murray being him. A lot of people don't like the pick I just chose there with Devontae. But I just think he commands the ball a little bit more. I mean, we'll see. I'm excited to obviously see Marvin Harrison Jr. in action more. But if we're looking at rookies to fill out a roster, which there are a lot of great rookies to fill out this roster, you have one in like Malik Neighbors down here as well. I mean, yes, he's dealing with that minor ankle injury, but you're hoping that it's nothing too serious. You're thankful that it happened during preseason now, so he can actually like heal up, and they can be like, okay, yes, he's been torching everyone. We don't need to necessarily put him out there. Oh my gosh, this roster is a freaking monster right here. Look at that. Look how far Pacheco fell in the 3rd. And that's actually great to know. Well, I'm actually going to have to test that in the 14 team. But this roster, this start of Amon-Ra and then Kyron Williams and Isaiah Pacheco as your 1-2, I'm interested to see Crying Tannehill, how that roster is going to fill out. This one, you're obviously we're playing it a little bit safe, but we can actually maybe go more playmakers. We do have a choice between Patrick Mahomes or Lamar Jackson. Wide receiver wise, no one really. Tight end wise, Mark Andrews, Trey McBride. I'm actually I'll go Lamar Jackson here. Gonna try to fill this out with playmakers. Running back wise, Rashad White, Alvin Kamara. Wide receiver wise, DJ Moore, DK Metcalf, Malik Neighbors. You know, I have zero. Oh, you know what? All right. Because I have Lamar, I'm going to go with this stack of Mark Andrews. Probably could have seen if he would have fell to the 5th, but with us being later on in that draft, I'm going to go ahead and just check this. Going to start going through, filling out guys that we like. Zamir White is still there. Wide receiver wise, I feel like we would probably have to go more who we would want in either George Pickens. Or you know what? There's enough guys there. There's not enough guys here. We're going to take our running back in Zamir White. It's just the rule of being in that 5th pick. Jalen Warren actually goes there. Jesus. Wide receiver, Christian Kirk, Tank Dell. I actually like Calvin Ridley out of all those. Rasheed Rice, I guess, probably consideration just with the Hollywood Brown injury. But even look at that. Hollywood Brown still goes before Rasheed Rice. We do still have a shot at Xavier Worthy, I believe. Yeah, he's still there. Let me see here. We already have 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, so probably should start filling this out a little bit more. I'm comfortable having Keon Coleman as my wide receiver 3. A lot of people are not. Jaden Reed is there in consideration. I mean, obviously, is it him? Is it Dobbs? Who's the true wide receiver 1? A lot of people say it's Reed. A lot of people say it's Dobbs. So that's right there. You're just gonna have to take your pick. Jordan Love is throwing it to him. He has been a lot better than give him credit for. Here also too, Lad McConkey, Xavier Worthy, Keon Coleman still all the way down here. We know we're going to have to take Keon Coleman in the 8th because he's not going to be sneaking out anywhere else. So with that, running back wise, we should come in here, take the guy we want, especially with Raheem Mostert being our 3. Xavier Worthy, look at that. He goes there. I'm going to come in, smash play, Keon Coleman in the 8th. Running back run. Ooh, before us, Trey Benson goes. Wide receiver wise, Cortland Sutton maybe. Brian Thomas Jr. there, another exciting rookie. Look at that, there's still Romeo Dobbs. Jake Ferguson. So this is very encouraging, just knowing too that there's some stout or some good, tight ends later on. That'll provide some great value. We can go ahead and get our receiver, maybe Brian Thomas Jr. Ooh, quarterback-wise, Jay Daniels still there. We need to just take care of these positions that we don't have a lot of. Jerome Ford, like I said, is the running back 1. Miss out on a few wide receivers, but none we were necessarily chasing. Still some running backs we could go after. Zeke, Gus, Dowdle, Blake Corum, but we don't have Kyron, so we don't necessarily need him. Wide receiver wise, honestly, to me, would be between Brian Thomas Jr. or Romeo Dobbs. Quarterback, Jaden Daniels would provide that extra value. Let me see, he's week 14 bye, though. Can edit those picks. Oh, that's interesting. That's nice. In my 14-team draft, I'll obviously do some random ones, but knowing that we can edit and pick those picks, it is more of a dynasty-ish, or like we get to choose, keep a couple of players from last year. So that's going to be exciting if I can go ahead and queue everything up and then test it. Back to this draft. Let me see. We have the onesie positions. We have 4, 3. Jane Daniels is tempting. Jacoby Myers. Go Brian Thomas Jr. We already have last year's MVP. Jane Daniels is nice and enticing, exciting to possibly have. He's still there. So that is actually lucky for us. Dowdle there. Gonna take who I want. Hey, miss on that. Miss on Polk. Dowdle Polk. Those are the only 2. Running back wise, I mean, even if we needed a backup, I don't think there's anyone there we would honestly chase. Wide receiver wise, that could provide some value. There is Brandon Cooks, who right now, I mean, he does provide those boom weeks. Gotta say, when I look at wide receivers, targets to me are what is huge. Taking Jahan Dotson there. We do have we took Jaden Daniels before. Essentially get that stack. Leaves us with 2 more picks before the end of this draft, or before we just go defense kicker. Josh Downs dealing with the high ankle sprain. Dontavian Wicks, who did score that touchdown, but is the 4th wide receiver there. Rashad Bateman, who is the wide receiver 2 there. Xavier Legette. I mean, big body, dude. Like 6'3", 227. Like, that's a dude. I mean, take who you want. I'll take a chance on him. One more. No running backs we like. Braylon Allen if we have Breece Hall. Alexander Madison, possibly only because we have Zamir White. That's if you're looking to back up certain positions. Hey, a good backup we essentially could get here is Dalton Schultz. I mean, it's just value leaving there at that point. There wasn't really anyone there, else that we were excited about. Get our defense. Get our kicker. And let's see our 70 grade. Oh, we got 66. Get them D's. All right, guys. See if you would want this roster. At quarterback, Lamar Jackson, Jahmyr Gibbs, Zamir White, Devontae Adams. I mean, yeah, obviously as our wide receiver 1, that is the question mark. That's why I like to go wide receiver, because him as a wide receiver 2 would be nice. Calvin Ridley, Keon Coleman, Mark Andrews, a sack, Lamar Jackson, Raheem Mostert. I mean, definitely got a hit on some of these guys. Hey, Andrew Erickson liked this one a lot more than he liked the last one. But we'll take these D's. Let's go back one more, sneak one more in. We're at the later part of the draft. We'll go ahead and see which route we'll want to go. There's wide receivers there available. The best wide receiver, Garrett Wilson. Puka Nacua essentially would be the pick there, but knee injuries, bruh. All right. Travis Kelce, look at that. 1-2, Marvin Harrison Jr., Travis Kelce. Wow. Jahmyr Gibbs actually almost fell to us. That would have been nice. But here we obviously have who we want. We could go. I mean, the first draft we did, we got our running back champion. But we haven't tested the wide receiver one yet. Oh, that's tough. That is tough. Because Mike Evans as a wide receiver 2 would have been great as well. Ooh, could go 3. I did like that team that went 3. But see, here's the choice. Then you have Mike Evans or Cooper Kupp. Nico. Running back wise, I mean, no one really who we want. Out of these 3, I gotta say, just with Puka Nacua's injury, like Cooper Kupp is just rising on me, or is just rising up on my board a lot more. Mike Evans is gonna score, some touchdowns, but I just think to me, having that third wide receiver, would be key. Malik Neighbors. See tight ends, Trey McBride, Mark Andrews still available. Quarterback wise, Anthony Richardson, C.J. Stroud. Running back, I mean, still kind of sitting waiting. Let me see right here if I do get that. Okay. We're going to see. We're just going to punt. We're going to punt. This is the wild card roster. This is the one where I just get to test and have fun. Like I said, the first route, wide receiver with the running backs rising. The first one is probably the route we're going to be going with the wide receiver and then running back in that second, especially if Mike Evans can fall to the third. We're in the fifth, so we know we're going to want Zamir White. Actually, Anthony Richardson there. Ramondre Stevenson is still there. Ramondre Stevenson got paid. That's what everyone has to remember. There you go. I'll take value. Wide receiver, 7-8. This is tough because Brian Robinson would really be in that consideration for me, just being the fact that we punted the running back position so hard. But since we already have 3, that means our 4th one is essentially going to be in this tier here. If Jonathan Brooks fell, that'd be awesome, but more than likely we'll be choosing between Jerome Ford and Trey Benson as our running back 4. Take your guys. I'm taking my guys. And luckily for us, Jane Daniels still there, still available. Running back wise, Chase Brown, Jerome Ford, a lot of quarterbacks there that we're going to choose. Just going to go ahead and get Jane Daniels just to make sure we get our guy. And then running back wise on the turn, either Jerome Ford or Trey Benson. Jerome Ford, RB1 there. Going Trey Benson because eventually I believe he will take over James Conner's spot when he either breaks down or just later on in the year. Dowdle, McLaughlin, those two still there. Ty Chandler having a good camp. Ooh, Njoku is actually interesting. I'm going to take Dowdle there, just with him fighting for that spot. Njoku, Chandler, Bowers go. Quarterbacks available. Brock Purdy. Man, Caleb Williams, 4.795. Man, I'm going to keep an eye on him. Having 2 rookie quarterbacks, though. I mean, Stroud turned out fine last year. Wide receiver, you're looking at Brooks or Brandon Cooks or Jahan Dotson, with us having Wicks, Jalen Polk there. Goddard, Freiermuth, and Schultz. All 3 tight ends, too, that could provide some value. We just need 3 spots. See if Jahan Dotson can bounce back. Xavier Legette goes. Running back wise, no one there. Quarterback wise, Jared Goff is there. someone will probably go ahead and maybe take with just our last like bench spot. If Komet's got a lower chance, I guess I'll go ahead and just take Goff. But Komet there. All right. Curious. And D or C? C! We got another C. I'll take that. All right, guys. This is us getting our guys. And, I mean, luckily we quarterback fell and Jane Daniels to us in like round 12 or something crazy like that. But we were able to fill our team out with some of the guys we wanted. This is us going wide receiver first. And honestly, I think we went just straight 3 wide receivers because there's no one at other value we necessarily love there in that 3 spot, at least running back wise. So Jane Daniels, Zamir White, Ramondre Stevenson, Garrett Wilson, Devontae Adams, Cooper Kupp is our 3 starting wide receivers. Mark Andrews is tight end. Flex is Raheem Mostert. On the bench, Keon Coleman, Trey Benson, Rico Dowdle, Jahan Dotson, Jared Goff, Cole Kmet. Fantasy Pros, which one? Only one, highest 77 here. And then 69, 68, 67, give me them D's. All right, guys. Appreciate you following along again on this Monday. Still going to be drafting every single day, pretty much leading up into the start of the NFL season. After that, we'll figure out what to do. But looking forward to still drafting, seeing who's falling, who's rising, and of course, just sharing it with you guys. So appreciate it again. You guys take care, and we'll see you next time.